Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the August meeting of the West Sacramento Area Flood Control Agency. I'd like to start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. We'll start our agenda today with 1A, which is board appointments and reappointments. The WSAFCA Federal, our Flood Control Agency, we elect a chair and vice chair on an annual basis according to our Joint Powers Act. So I'd like to open it up with discussions on who we would like to carry on as chair and vice chair.
So I would like to nominate Tom for chair.
I'll second that motion.
And then I would then nominate Norma Alcala as vice chair. Continue.
Thank you, I accept.
Do you need my second? I'll second.
So we have a double motion on the floor here. And I think we can do it by acclamation. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Congratulations, everyone, and I'll try to do my best as chair going forward. On to 1B, presentation by the public on matters not on the agenda within the jurisdiction of the agency. Is there anyone from the public that wishes to come forward with anything not on the agenda, or is there any correspondence that we've received?
Have not received any.
Okay, thank you. Then we'll move on to 1C, report out of closed session.
Thank you, Chair Ramos. The board met in closed session on the one item listed on the closed session agenda and took no reportable action.
Thank you. Item 1D, our monthly and year-to-date review and expenses.
Thank you, Chair Ramos and board members. I'll be doing the monthly financial as our secretary and normal clerk, Jen, is out on maternity leave. For the month of June, in Fund 870, we started with a balance of about $6.2 million. Revenue totaled about $2.5 million, which is the second installment of the tax assessment. So the ending balance was approximately $8.6 million. Expenses totaled about $412,000, and that was primarily the distribution of the O&M assessment to the reclamation districts and the city. So ending cash position in Fund 870 was $8.2 million. For Fund 871, we started with about $5.1 million. We received $5.2 million, and that was from the closeout of the UFR agreement with the state. So that booked in June, bringing our revenue to $10.3 million. And expenses totaled about $788,000, and that was the lion's share of that went to the federal project, both on the Yebble project that's under construction now, as well as the design effort on Sac River North. The ending cash position for Fund 871 was $9.5 million. And then for combined cash position is for the agency as of June 30th was $35.3 million, and that's because also in June we received, along with the closeout of the OFR agreement, we received the balance of that on that agreement from the state as an advance towards the federal project, and that amount was about $17.6 million. So that concludes the monthly report. Happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions?
No.
Thank you, Greg. And that was through June, so that was our year end. So very good. Moving on, our consent agenda. just one item today, which is approval of our June 15th, 2023 minutes. Our July meeting was canceled, so these would be the current minutes from our last meeting. Any questions on the minutes, or I would make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
Been approved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. On to our regular agenda, the WSAFCA project updates.
Thank you, Chair Ramos. Looks like that's me again. I just wanted to, since I gave the financial report through June 30th, since that time, we've made a 5% cash payment to the Corps for the federal project out of the advance fund. So instead of the 35-point-something million, as of June 30th, we're now at a little over 33 million, 33.2. On the Southport Levee Improvement Project, staff is working with both our project management consultant as well as BRI to get documents together that are going to support our crediting for real estate that we'll be submitting to the Corps. As far as the restoration part of the project, we're down to one, I don't know about down to, we've initiated one continuous 24 irrigation event per week. So far so good. It seems to be working in terms of keeping everything alive out there and also not having to do a whole lot of maintenance on the watering system. On the federal project, in terms of costs, we're expecting another cash request. The Corps received their FY23 funds in 2 allotments, so they requested a cash payment previously, which we've made. We're expecting another request in the next week for approximately $3 million, and that will be the balance required through FY23. So we would not expect another 5% cash request until the FY24 appropriations are made and the Corps receives their allotment. That should be sometime probably mid next year. The Yola Bypass East Levee South project, Nordic's been out doing work. They've completed the clearing and grubbing. They've prepped the waterside slope for rock revetment. We expect that to begin here shortly. And we're still awaiting PG&E to relocate a pole that is in the way of doing the seepage berm. Right now, that relocation is scheduled for next Wednesday, the 23rd. If it slips, then the seepage berm work will also slip, and it'll just track behind it. But we do expect that Nordic will be able to continue with the rock placement, so we're hoping that it will not affect the project schedule much. The Yola Bypass East Levee Project North went out to bid May 26. Bids received July 13th. The low bid came in at about $9 million from Odin, and that contract is planned for award tomorrow. And again, like we've been saying for quite some time, once they do all their submittals and all the rest of that and their schedule, we're not sure if any work will be done this year or if it'll have to roll to next spring. So we'll report out as we know. On the Sac River North Levee design, the Corps held an official design kickoff meeting on August 10th. Ironically, assisting the Corps with the design effort under this contract is AECOM. And that reach, because it's approximately about 6 miles in length, that reach is being broken up into 4 design or contract efforts. I included a graphic in your packet that shows the first contract effort. It's the Corps calling it Contract 1S, S standing for seepage and stability. We anticipate to have 2 S contracts, a 1S and a 2S, and then 2 E contracts for erosion protection. But we'll report on those as we know, as they come up. And the first design deliverable for Contract 1S is the 35% design in December of this year. And we
Okay,
expect to receive that after the Corps does their internal reviews and approvals. We expect to get that for our reviews somewhere around the February timeframe. And then just as a note, by the way, staff is putting together an RFP for real estate support services for Sac River North Levee, and a little bit of work to maybe get some revised appraisals for Southport crediting. Because it's been some time since that project was completed, the Corps in some instances requires updated appraisals. And just as a reminder, one of the main non-federal sponsor requirements on the federal project is all of the lands and rights of way. And so we're going to be gearing up to do that work shortly.
I have a question on the design effort. You said it's in the four, are those by different reaches? Or?
Well, it's all part of Sac River North. If you look at the graphic on the next page, there's, in the legend, you can see the various segments.
Mm-hmm.
So contract 1S, the two that's circled there for segments 1 and 2. Segments 3, 4, and 5, which much of that is high ground, but they anticipate the next S contract, or contract 2S, would incorporate all three of those segments.
Okay.
And that would take it all the way down to the stone lock. And the locations and magnitude of the erosion contracts is to be determined. I'm going to skip to surveying right on that note. The topographical survey and bathymetric survey have been submitted to the Corps, and a final reportive survey was also submitted to the Corps. So now they have, subject to their review and possible comments, but they have the quote-unquote lay of the land in which to start the design in segments 1 and 2. And then to also start looking at where the erosion deficiencies may be, and they'll start putting together those scopes. We do anticipate that it, at some point, we're going to be overlapping likely contract 1S with some of the erosion contracts as well. On the geotech side, the real meat and potatoes of the design under contract 1S is going to be the geotechnical basis of design report, which the Corps is developing. What typically feeds that is the hydraulic basis of design report, which gives the design water surface elevation. The Corps is not expected to complete that until February of 2024. And so they have provided a water surface elevation for the Corps to use for that geotechnical basis of design report. One water surface elevation that will cover all of segments 1 and 2. And the Corps is looking to do it, since they're going to plug in other numbers as they do their analysis, we call it a sensitivity analysis, to make sure that they bracket where those final water surface elevations are going to be. So they'll run the data, crunch the numbers, and it may in the future affect the recommended remediation, but at least we'll have the data that will support it.
Are they taking into effect the widening of the Sacramento bypass in their analysis?
Yeah, so the hydraulic basis of design is taking into account the Sac Weir widening, as well as the new the Folsom Dam project updates.
Okay.
Both the raise as well as the lower spillways, and the flows associated with a 200-year event that come down the American River. All that's being factored into it. Then on public relations, you have probably heard that the October 5th groundbreaking ceremony was canceled. As of yesterday, it's back on. Subject to continuing federal funding, we're not sure if a continuing resolution, which is all but a certainty at this point, that may affect the groundbreaking ceremony, causing it to be rescheduled. We'll see. But you will likely receive an official invite from the Corps via email, so stay tuned for that. It should come hopefully by the end of this week. And then the 2022-23 Community Rating System Annual Recertification was submitted ahead of schedule on July 23rd. And then under Emergency Preparation and Flood Season Coordination, there's some flood fight training that's being scheduled for a couple of days in September, and that's being coordinated with the city, Yolo County, and Yolo County OES. And then, other than that, I think that's it from me. I'd be happy to answer any other questions you may have on the report.
Thank you. Questions? Gordon? Okay, thank you, Greg, very much. On to item 3B, director's comments. Seeing none, I'm going to go to item 3C, which is adjournment. Thank you, everyone.